Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Older adults deserve to be treated with respect and dignity to enable them to serve as leaders, mentors, volunteers, and vital participating members of our community. The National Center on Elder Abuse and the County of Putnam recognize the importance of taking action to raise awareness, prevent and address elder abuse, and its recognition will promote a better understanding of abuse and neglect of older adults by understanding that ageism and social isolation are major causes of elder abuse. Ensuring that proper social structures exist so people can retain community and societal connections, reducing the likelihood of abuse. Preventing abuse of older adults through maintaining and improving social supports like senior centers, human services, and transportation. Allowing older adults to continue to live as independently as possible and contribute to the life and vibrancy of our community. Be it resolved that the Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim June 15, 2025 as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. We encourage everyone to recognize and celebrate older adults and their ongoing contributions to the success and vitality of our community. Would either of you like to say anything?
Thank you very much for this recognition. We wanted to bring this to the attention because it is getting so prevalent, and we want to do away with the stigma of abuse and exploitation and neglect that the older adults in this community may be facing. So we say that we are here to help support. If anybody has experienced or knows someone that might be experiencing any sort of elder abuse, to call Adult Protective Services, 808-1500. You can do so anonymously. And we also want to thank the Sheriff's Department as well, especially Deputy Clerk Pearson, who has gone around and done scam prevention at all 4 of our senior centers. So we want people to acknowledge what is out there and how to prevent and help others in our community. So thank you.
Marley, does it occur?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 4 is acceptance of minutes for March 6th, 2025, special meeting of the State of County. Agenda item number 5 is correspondence from the county auditor. This is a refund of taxes report required by real property tax law, section 556. We do have one this evening. It is a denial for the Brewster School District for tax map number 47.3-102, which we will vote on and discuss this evening. Moving on to agenda item number 6, pre-filed resolutions. I would like to call on Legislator Yonke, the Chairman of the Personnel Committee, to present the Personnel Committee items.
Thank you, Chairwoman Sage. On behalf of legislators Adam Ezio, Goldman, and myself, I'd like to move forward item 6A, which is the approval of a budgetary amendment, finance, vacancy control factor for 2025, removing $300,000 with no fiscal impact.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye. Item 6B is the approval of a budgetary amendment for social services. It's a pay differential to cover a social services supervisor position. It's in the amount of $5,225 with zero fiscal impact.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye. Item 6C is the approval of a budgetary amendment for social services. It's the reclassification senior computer operational specialist to coordinator of information technology. This is in the amount of it's in the amount of $1,119. It's a $1,119 fiscal impact for 2025 and $2,308 for 26.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye. Item 6D is a ratification of the Puma collective bargaining agreement. It's modifying the existing contract they had.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye. Item 6E is the approval of a budgetary transfer for personnel. It's additional funding. It's the funding for the ratification of the Puma collective bargaining agreement that was just passed.
Discussion.
It's just, no.
Should I have?
Thank you. The fiscal impact is $5,389.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Again, I'd like to call on Legislator Young, Chair of the Protective Services Committee.
Thank you, Chairwoman Sage. On behalf of Legislators Adenizio, Birmingham, and myself, I'd like to move forward with item 6F. It's the authorization for intermunicipal agreement with Westchester County to permit the reciprocal programming of radio communication systems.
Discussion.
Madam Chair, I'll be recusing myself from this. One of the contracting parties is a client of the firm, which I'm a partner. So I'll be abstaining on this vote.
Thank you, Legislator Birmingham. Legislator Adenizio.
Thank you, Chair. This agreement with Westchester County represents an important step forward in regional collaboration. The legislature is moving forward. By entering into this agreement, we're enhancing interoperability, public safety, and mutual aid between our counties.
Thank you. Anyone else? All those in favor?
Aye. One abstention.
One abstention.
Item 6G is the approval, confirmation, reappointments of the Putnam County Emergency Services Safety Advisory Board. We have Catherine Lewis for a 3-year term to expire on December 31st, 2027. Nat Prentice for a 3-year term set to expire on December 31st, 2027.
Discussion. Legislator Adenizio.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank our volunteers for stepping up.
Anyone else? Again, we have a lot of committees here in Putnam County that require volunteers, and we couldn't do what we do here in Putnam County without these wonderful volunteers. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, I'd like to call on Legislator Birmingham, who's the chairman of the Rules, Enactments, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On behalf of myself and Legislator Stoner and Movement, we have 2 items before the full legislature tonight. First is item 6G, approval, confirmation, reappointments of the Putnam County Emergency Service.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, H, my apologies. Approval, Consumer Affairs Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 363. This was before the committee this past month and passed unanimously. On behalf of the committee, I move item 6H.
Is there discussion on item 6H? All those in favor?
Aye. The remaining item for the Rules Committee tonight, Madam Chair, is item 6I, approval, weights and measures, fee schedules of maximum fees permitted for inspection. Again, this was passed unanimously at the committee. We did have the Director of Weights and Measures and Consumer Affairs at the committee meeting to discuss this with us. On behalf of the committee, I move item 6I.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, moving on to Fiscal Services Committee, I'd like to call on Legislator Aylmer, who is the chair of the committee, to present his items.
Thank you, Chairman Sage. On behalf of Legislators Crowley and I, I'd like to move forward for approval budgetary amendment 25A035, Department of Public Works. This is item 6J. It's for state of emergency storm damage. Its fiscal impact is for 2025 is $927,322. That goes back to the general fund. It's an increase because we received some FEMA reimbursements, and there is no impact in 2026.
Okay, discussion. All those in favor?
Aye. Item 6K is approval of budgetary amendment 25042, also DPW. This is additional funding for capital project 52511. It is garage roof repair on Myrtle Avenue. This is coming out of our capital fund. Its fiscal impact is a decrease. Well, it's coming out of our fund, $200,000 for 2025, zero in 2026.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye. 6L is for approval budgetary amendment 25A043, also DPW. This is additional funding for capital project 52510. The Youth Bureau this is reallocation, but it should be relocation Tilly Foster Farm. We're transferring out of the capital fund $190,000, which is the fiscal impact for 2025, zero fiscal impact in 2026.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye. 6M is for approval for budgetary amendment 25A044. We need additional funding of $68,000, which is this year's fiscal impact. This is because a vendor has opted out of a contract, and we're going to have an increase anticipated of $20,600 for additional vendor. And there are 2 aeration blowers that are in need of immediate replacement at a cost of $29,946.98, totaling $68,000.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye. 6M is for approval for budgetary amendment 25A045, Soil and Water Conservation District. We received funds in the amount of $10,079 from Part C because we made their performance measures. There is zero fiscal impact, and this is being used for hiring of an intern.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye. 6O is a budgetary amendment 25A048. This is an increase of CHIPS funding. So we're seeing an additional $831,356 of funding, no fiscal impact.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. 6P is approval for use of our capital facility reserve fund. This is adding to 19 CP06, which is funding that is used to hire architects and or engineering services. It's for an additional $160,000, and there's a proviso that, including the total prior funding of the years past, this is not to exceed $390,000.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. 6Q, approval for DPW to use the capital reserve fund to improve/replace the security gate at the Board of Elections. It is not to exceed $56,000, and there's no fiscal impact.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item 6R is also DPW approval for use of the Capital Facility Reserve Fund for project 25CP04 for chapel improvements, not to exceed $150,000.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6S is the approval to enter into an intermunicipal shared services agreement with the towns of Kent, Carmel, Patterson, Phillipstown, Putnam Valley, Southeast, and the villages of Brewster, Cold Spring, and Nelsonville for the sharing of highway-related resources.
Discussion.
Madam Chair, I'll be abstaining from this, two of the villages and one of the towns that are clients of the firm, Richmond Clark, so I'll be abstaining.
Thank you, Legislator Birmingham. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Legislator Agnesia.
Yes.
Legislator Berman.
Abstain.
Legislator Crowley.
Yes.
Legislator Elton.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
Yeah.
Legislator Young.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
Yes.
Legislator Russo.
Yes.
Chairwoman Sage.
Yes.
Motion
Item 6T is the approval between DPW and an agreement with New York State. Our snow and ice removal agreement expires on June 30th, and this is to extend for 5 years, starting on July 1st, and it will extend through 2029.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
And the last one from Fiscal Services is approval for submission of a grant application for farmland protection county planning through the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets, so we can update what was the 2004 Putnam County Agricultural and Farmland Protection Plan.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Moving on to Health, Social, and Educational and Environmental Committee, I'd like to call on Chairwoman Agnesia.
Thank you, Chairwoman Sage. On behalf of legislators Eleanor, Russo, and myself, I move to approve 6V. This is a budgetary amendment, Social Services Mobile Crisis. The Commissioner of Social Services has requested a budgetary amendment to amend the 2025 mental health budget to reflect an extension of the 2023 state aid levels regarding funding code 164 for suicide prevention and crisis services. This was reviewed and approved in both health and audit committee. It is an amount of $150,000, and that is state aid, so there is zero fiscal impact for 2025 and 2026. Just so everyone's aware of this program, it's any individual that has concerns about someone who is experiencing a behavioral health crisis, such as suicide or substance abuse, they can reach out to the crisis team, and a team of mental health professionals will travel to the individual to provide crisis intervention and follow-up support. So I'm really happy to see this moving forward this evening.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. 6W is the Director of Office for Senior Resources would like to apply for the fall 2025 small grant under the Field Hall Foundation. This is for $15,000, and these funds are used for a home safety and environmental support program to deliver safety-focused home modifications to enable older adults in Putnam County to live independently and safely in their homes. This $15,000 will be dedicated to serving the older adults, and it will serve approximately 300 people under this grant period based on an average cost of $500 per family. 30 older adults.
Discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry, just want to say, no matching funds. No county matching funds.
So discussion. I'd just like to thank the Field Hall Foundation for all their support for our senior citizens in Putnam County. We have quite a few grants from the Field Hall Foundation, and they're amazing in their support for our seniors. All in favor?
Aye. Moving on to 6X is approval for a grant also. This is for Senior Resources requesting approval for a 5-year contract with the State of New York, the Office of Aging. This contract term is February 2025 through January 2030. This will be a yearly amount of $105,007 for a total of $525,000 $35 over a 5-year period, requiring a county match of 25%. So it's the SADS program it's called, which is Social Adult Daycare Service. And the core services that they provide is socialization, monitoring and supervision, personal care, and nutrition. So this is definitely needed.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6Y is the approval and confirmation for the appointment of East of Hudson Sporting Advisory Committee of the Watershed Protection and Partnership Council. I'm proud this evening to confirm the appointment of Chris Ruthin to the East of Hudson Sporting Advisory Committee. The county has been without an advisor since the retirement of our former represented by Vince Ryan. Having been employed in Putnam County since 1998, Chris currently serves as Deputy Commissioner of Parks. Chris will bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to his appointment.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. On behalf of myself, Legislator Birmingham, and Legislator Crowley, I'd like to bring forward the Audit and Administration Committee items for approval. Agenda item 6Z is an approval for budgetary amendment 25A031B for the District Attorney for a Criminal Justice Discovery Reform Grant Award to support merit bonuses for the ADAs in management. The New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services awarded a grant to Putnam County for a maximum amount of $266,192, and a portion of this grant will be used to help support personnel services in the form of merit bonuses for the hard work that they do during the discovery process. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item 6AA is an approval for budgetary amendment 25A046 for social services. This is for family-centered case management grant to reclassify a new position. There's zero fiscal impact. They're simply reclassifying a position. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
And item 6BB is an approval for a budgetary amendment of the Sheriff's Office to utilize federally seized asset forfeiture funds to purchase various equipment for the Sheriff's Department. This was discussed at the Audit Committee to support $531,563 of SRT equipment. This will be used, there's no fiscal impact as this is being used, we're using federally seized asset forfeiture funds. So it doesn't impact the taxpayer. It's a discussion. Legislator Yonke.
I'm in favor of this, and I'd like to just thank the sheriff for bringing this forward. He's taking seized asset funds, so it's not taxpayer money. We're buying equipment that will make our law enforcement personnel safer when they come upon the scene where there's a crisis. The original number that the sheriff came forward with was a little lower than this. We encouraged him to increase the funding for additional equipment, and I want to say thank you to him because that's exactly what he did, and it's going to benefit all of our law enforcement going forward.
Legislator Crowley.
I'd like to say thank you to, I wish I was here, who's here to thank himself, but thank you, Under Sheriff Linder, appreciate it, and hopefully your SRG team is growing, and can't wait to see progress.
I meant to say Under Sheriff Linder too.
Anyone else?
I just want to say thank you for, the Sheriff's Department for using these seized funds instead of taxpayer dollars. So thank you to the entire team.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
And item 6C 6C is the request for refund of taxes for the town of Southeast, tax map 47.3-102. It's denial. This was discussed in committee. Is there discussion on this item? All those in favor, Legislator Bianchi.
Just a correction, it looks like the tax map number should read 47.3-102, and we are approving a denial of an application. So by saying yes, we're approving a denial.
All right, thank you. That's the
I
wrong.
think it's important to point out with this, it is bizarre chain of events here, because we're approving a denial.
Yeah.
And the denial was due to the state law that could not be, their tax assessment, they hadn't agreed upon a tax assessment. They applied for a refund or credit for real property tax. The director of real property said application, they were do that, but their error can't be corrected going back over 3 years. It's just bizarre that we can't refund that because there's an error in the state law. That, maybe I'm not understanding it correctly. If I may, I know Legislator Bianchi has a better understanding of these things than I do.
If I may. Thank you. Yeah, the detail behind this is interesting in that there was a stipulated settlement to the reduction of the assessment in 2019. Yet the assessment didn't act on this stipulated reduction, and it took the taxpayer years to discover that this had never been, the reduction had never gone through. Unfortunately, the state law only allows for a refund within the last 3 years. So 2019 is far beyond the what the statute says. And that's a protection for municipalities, so that if there ever was a refund, they couldn't go back 20, 30 years, discover something and go back 20 or 30 years. So that's kind of protecting municipalities.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
All in favor? Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 7. We do have, of course, this evening some other business. I'd like to make a motion to move agenda item 7A to other business. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. 7A is an approval for seeker for the agricultural district. This is required by the state of New York. Putnam County Legislature, as being declared as lead agency, hereby accepts and adopts a negative declaration prepared in connection with proposed agricultural district modifications. This is something that we need to act on in order to approve an ag district application that we approved at our special fall. Legislator.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to point out that we were given a revised 7A, and I'd like to make a motion that we accept revised 7A in lieu of the original 7A.
Thank you. I'll second that. All in favor of accepting the revised? And just to let you know that the revised version has the correct acreage on that. Our original other business had a wrong acres on this particular property. This is a property located in Patterson County. Patterson, the town of Patterson. This is special parcels were part of the Honovich versus Putnam County that were voted in at our last special fall. Is there discussion on agenda item 7A? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We do have 7B on the agenda, however, we don't need to add 7B because this was added on here because acreage we thought was wrong in the original, but it was correct. So this has already been voted on, so we don't need to add 7B. right, moving on to agenda item 7C. This is supporting the adoption of Senate Bill S1183 and Senate Bill A.74. Do I have a motion to add this part of the business?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. This was brought forward and proposed by Legislator Elner, so I will give Legislator Elner the floor to introduce this item.
This item is to support a New York Senate bill and a New York Assembly bill. So there will be a real property tax exemption for veterans who have a 100% service-connected disability. Our veterans deserve, particularly those who will become disabled, that they deserve our respect and excellent treatment. And I think this is one way that we can help them.
Thank you. Legislator Crowley.
I think this is wonderful, but I don't think it's appropriate to do in other business. And I think like we do for most business, it should be brought through committee. We talked about that before with the special that's coming up on the 10th, that should be brought through committee and have transparency and allow the public to discuss it. And when the Veterans Committee discuss it, I'm sure they'll be in favor, but that's usually the procedure that we try to follow and be transparent, and I think we should continue that.
Any other discussion? Mr. Admisio.
Thank you. I totally support this bill. There are so many veterans who are struggling, the ones that especially 100%. Many people aren't aware, 100% service-connected disability. Clarify that. Many people aren't aware that if the veterans that don't have that, it's very hard for them to get services and also even to get into the homes when they are disabled or they become senior citizens. They can't go into the homes because it has to be service connected, 100%. Otherwise, they would have to pay. So I'm really glad to see this. At least it helps them, with the taxes, which is very, very important, especially in Putnam County.
Anyone else? Legislator Montgomery.
It's not clear, would this be a 100% exemption, or like we do with emergency services and fire departments and senior citizens, is it a certain percentage?
It's echoing the bill that's up in Albany. We're just saying that we support the bill that they have.
But we don't know what the percentage is.
I don't recall what the percentage.
So my understanding was just
Let me see if I have the bill here.
We, in addition, this is just to support, it's a gesture, we're going to actually have to set that ourselves. So we will have to, if it passes, and I would be in favor of it passing, we will then, as the county or a village or a town or a school district or a fire district or a library district, water district, all these taxing entities in New York State will have to set the exemption rate, correct? That's my understanding from what I heard. So we'll have to.
Yeah, Legislator Yankees.
Veterans exemptions don't apply to special districts. So the water districts, fire districts wouldn't be impacted. I'm in favor of sending this up to Albany, but there has to be, if we were ever to consider this exemption, if it were to pass, we should probably still do a fiscal analysis to see how many exemptions we're talking about and what kind of impact it would have on our overall levy. The other thing they typically do with veterans exemptions is they set limits to them. So 100%, right now, if you have 100% disability as a veteran, you get a 50% exemption, but it's limited. So if you have a house that exceeds the limit, it might only be a 30% exemption. It's convoluted, it's very complicated, but it just, as an idea, I'm in support of this right now. I'm in support of our veterans and all they've done for our country.
Legislator Montgomery, did you want to continue? Go ahead.
Thank you. So maybe we could get to work on doing that assessment so we can be ready to implement it when it's time. It would be, rather than a lot of times the state passes these bills and it takes towns and counties years to implement them. And I'd like to see them get what they deserve and what we all agreed upon.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to see the summary of the provision that say that it would be a new subdivision added to real property tax, which will allow for either a county, city, town, village, or school district to implement a resolution or to provide a full tax exemption to certain disabled veterans. So I guess if we go to the school district, we can only hope that they would do 100% on their end.
Well, it's just like like what we do with the fire departments. I actually had to go out and advocate at school board meetings for the fire departments to get theirs.
Anyone else before? Again. Anyone else? Commissioner Crowley.
I think this is wonderful. Can we have two separate bills? Because I think when we passed one, what was it, 2 years ago, it was like legislative Montgomery said it was for the fire departments and the veterans, correct? It was for 50, I think we gave them the full, was it 15%, I think we could give. And then it had to go to the town, and then it had to go to the school district, and then there was a cutoff amount. So does that supersede that, or they, but like,
I don't think that involves.
Property tax is involved in this.
that was property taxes and property tax, legislative document.
It's a local option, so we
So
have the right to vote on it, the school district has.
No, I'm wondering because that came down from the state, is this superseding, this idea superseding the previous?
This will probably amend section, I think it's 568 of the real property tax. It's going to amend the existing section of the law.
That was like.
I mean, I for one agree with this in concept. I'd like, as Administrator Norton said, I'd like to see a full analysis of it. We're talking about people who have fought for our country. These are veterans who have 100% disability. I would be in favor of helping these individuals in any way, shape, or form that we can. But it would be certainly, I'm in favor of this in concept. The reason we're voting on this tonight, this memorialization, is because it has to go to Albany because the bill's in front of them now. They would vote on it or they don't. So this would be a memorialization, just saying that Putnam County would be, would be happy to say we always support veterans here in Putnam County, and we'd like to see something to support these veterans. With that, any further?
I just want to thank Legislator Allen for bringing that forward at the last minute and hopefully get this into the state legislature before the end of the session.
Roll call vote, please.
Legislator Evans?
Yes.
Legislator Birmingham?
Yes.
Legislator Crowley? Yes. Legislator Elder?
Yes.
Legislator Goldman?
Yes.
Legislator Young?
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery?
Yes.
Legislator Russo?
Yes.
Chairwoman Sage?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. I would like to recognize the public on agenda items. This is on agenda items only. Come and speak, please come up to the podium, state your name, the town in which you reside. Please sign on the sheet. And thank you for coming out.
We're really happy, it was kind of bewildered to see, the approval and those amendments to the secret and to the application, so forgive me, I didn't have time to look at 300+ pages of backup that you guys had to. So I just, if possible, want to clarify, because I saw a little bit back and forth, the revoking an amendment, going with the original. What is where it lands now, so it gets the backup?
If I may. There's a discrepancy of approximately 2 acres, and the revised unit, the revised sheet included the additional 2 acres. Somehow something happened where the parcel size was not correct.
Okay, so the secret now matches the resolution, so
Correct.
everything's good.
Everything's matching, right?
They thought that it was the 2%, the 2 acre discrepancy, and then it was, after the agenda went out, they realized that what was passed, resolution number 10, was correct.
So now the secret reflects that. Okay, and then I guess the other question, because this is obviously, we've all been here, it's gone so incredibly long, and you guys did work to do the special goal to really correct that. Does anyone have any timeline and when that gets in the state? If there's any other barriers, if there's anything that pops up from here, of what a timeline is.
That resolution is processed, you'll go to the Denton County Executive Stage.
Okay, and then legislature sends that to or is? I want to, there's a little confusion, there's 300 pages of stuff you guys had to read that I didn't. Just wanted to thank you guys for that, make sure that everything moves forward, and we don't have to deal with this, but again, so thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Public can hear better because I think it's attached. I'm not quite sure, so.
I just wanted to first thank you, Legislature, for bringing forward that proposal. Glad to see that was unanimous support, so thank you. I do have a question just on procedural role, because I know there's a conversation about the public speaking resolution that's going to be coming up. And from a rules perspective, would this have qualified as a situation where, because it was brought to the full, without going to committee first, the public would have the opportunity for discussion to be able to?
Yeah, that's something that we can discuss at our committee, and that would probably be an example of something.
Okay. I know, because I know when we talked about it at the last rules committee meeting, these were some of the scenarios we were sort of throwing back and forth as what would come up. So I was curious, seeing it play out, would this have qualified as one of those scenarios?
Probably. And that's something that we will discuss at length in our committee meeting.
But it's on the committee, it's on the
agenda, so you can comment on it right now.
No, yeah, no,
wait,
sure.
it's
I know.
discussion before
I meant
the vote.
Correct. And that will be discussed at committee.
Cool.
Madam
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Anyone else on agenda items? All right, so moving on to agenda item number 9 is recognition of legislators. Commissioner Elman.
This past weekend, I had the privilege to be a volunteer for Hudson Valley Honor Flight. Honor Flight is a charity which takes veterans either out of Westchester County Airport or Stewart to Washington, D.C. There is no cost to the veterans. Veterans are given priority based on their age and the conflict in which they fought. There were approximately 60 veterans, and in addition to the staff of Honor Flight, there's ideally one volunteer per veteran. There were 6 veterans from Putnam County on board that flight. As a volunteer, we pay our own way, which is $500. There is some preliminary training of all the guardians, as we're called. There is a private charter flight which takes them to Washington, D.C., where buses are there and everyone is taken to a whole series of memorials. It's an absolutely wonderful, fantastic, and emotional experience. You will smile, and if you don't shed a number of tears, you're not a patriot. It is something that I hope everyone here and who's watching at home would consider. Right now, the predominant number of veterans are Vietnam veterans. And for those of us who were old enough and remember when the Vietnam veterans came home, they were not given a proper welcome. Many of them were treated very negatively, and I'm glad that that's starting to change. To give you an idea of the magnitude of this, the 3 buses that left Elmsford for Westchester County Airport received a motorcycle escort, and 287 was closed. a private hangar was donated where a high school band from Dutchess County, R.C. Tesham, was there, and approximately 500 people at 6 o'clock in the morning to give these veterans a send-off. This is something that I hope that we can post on our county website, or just encourage people to go see and investigate Hudson Valley Honor Flight, because it's something that's really worthwhile and it's wonderful for our community.
Anyone else? Legislator Crowley.
Thank you, Legislator Elmer, for going. I just wanted to say one other thing. One of the very important parts of that, which most of the people on that flight who did it a couple years ago, is on the way home, they surprise all the Vietnam, most of our veterans are Vietnam veterans, but family members and friends write them all letters and do mail call, and they have no idea. And they get all the letters, and the tears that are shed, it's just amazing, and it really is a very...
I did want to spoil the surprise, but yes.
Well, okay, well, but it's very important, and it is something that I think everybody should take the time to do, because it's really incredible, and the veterans do appreciate it, and thank you for his service and for sharing that.
Anyone else? Legislator Hawkins.
I just want to wish all the graduates from preschool up to folks getting their doctorate a big congratulations, and hopes that you'll go out in the world and do great things. And a happy Father's Day to all my colleagues and to everybody out there.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, with that, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.